And a quiet first 20 minutes. Giveaway here, though, by Jack Smith of Phoenix. Smith, though, recovers to step up and prevent a run in behind by Querétaro. Eder Forosca. Beto Lopez combining on the right-hand side with Edgar Soki. Soki cut it back on the left foot. Crosses in. This could be dangerous. Player right at the top of the 6. This is head of the way to the top of the box. Forosca. And lost to the middle by Querétaro. Benjamin Rusmir. Nudged back by Marcus Moore. Eduardo Serrano, Jack Smith, Connor Lieber, all part of this buildup. Lieber makes a run past Ernesto Osorio. Lieber press forward from right back, still chasing. Lieber has gotten forward and pressed. We've seen him do this before. Well done here by Querétaro.
Yeah, and again, that time not quite as organized in that press, so Querétaro was able to break it fairly easily.
Jose Ortiz. Ortega on the left side. Scored a goal in the final last year for Querétaro, and he puts a very nice cross into the box, and you have that runner right in front, Alan Cota, and just couldn't stretch that right leg out far enough to get a touch on it and perhaps steer it home.
Yeah, still no shots officially, but Querétaro causing some problems now, getting the ball wider a little bit more quickly and starting to put some crosses in that have just a little bit more shape and definition to them.
Big center back. Caden Rabo got the first touch off the goal kick from Squire. In the middle, Rusmir, and Rusmir lost it. Axel Rosas had a chance to start creeping forward with it. Broken up by Phoenix. There's Rosas again. Drops for the holding midfielder, Eder Forosca. Played along the ground by Rios. To Beto Lopez. Edgar Soki had a chance for it. Coming over to defend was Galindo, the left back for Phoenix. Lopez. Beto Lopez with a cross at the back post. Keeper started to come for it. It dropped. Clearance doesn't make it much farther outside of the box, and then it's Marcus Moore who will turn and drive it away. Better struck cross. You mentioned a moment ago Lopez had a cross and went right to the keeper, and that was positioned in a place where it needed to be, not where the keeper could come for it.
Querétaro starting to find spaces between the lines. Saw Jose Ortiz a second ago drop into that area between the back line and the midfield line of restraint. And once you get into that space, things start breaking down, and then the ball goes out wide, and that's where they're getting some of these crosses. When you're talking about dealing with crosses, you either deal with it one of two ways. You concede a little bit of space outside and say, well, our center backs are good enough; they can deal with the crosses along with the goalkeeper, or you try to shut down the service. And right now, they're not. The team from Phoenix is not shutting down the service.
Eder Forosca looking for a run in behind from Ortega on the left side. Querétaro really disciplined and sticking to their shape. Haven't seen wingers invert or anything along those lines so far.
Well, again, they're controlling the match. They're not creating a lot of good scoring chances, but they're creating enough half chances. And then when you combine that with the fact that Phoenix Rising has not been able to create very much at all, I think you're pretty comfortable right now in the match if you're the team from Mexico. Jose
Ortiz plays in the midfield as the number 6, or as the number 10, beg your pardon. Axel Rosas is the number 8. Eder Forosca plays as the number 6. Alan Cota down the middle. Icor Ortega on the left wing. Edgar Soki on the right wing. Outside backs, Pablo Ortiz on the left side. Beto Lopez on the right side. Rodrigo Parra and Alberto Rios are the two center backs. An attempt blocked there by Jose Ortiz, the aforementioned number 10 in the setup for Querétaro, wearing number 345.
A nice step up a second ago by Jack Smith, winning possession temporarily for Phoenix, but then just not able to move the ball into a space where he could get the attack going the other way. Third corner kick now for Querétaro.
Right-footed delivery by Axel Rosas. Rosas, outswinger. Dangerous contact in the box. Ultimately, Alexander Kessler controls. And then just putting his foot through the ball and sending it out to the halfway line was Eduardo Serrano.
Now, more indication of a pretty conservative approach here from Phoenix Rising. All 11 players back dealing with that corner kick. Nobody out in any position to receive an outlet from there.
Edgar Soki got an overlap from Beto Lopez. Jose Ortiz, Axel Rosas, Eder Forasca. Pablo Ortiz to Ortega on the left side. Ortega with the run-up across. He's looking for Alan Cota. Keeper comes for it, misses on the punch. It sails all the way through, and it's a goal kick. And one player for Querétaro, I believe Edgar Soki, that right-sided attacker, was in the box.
Now you saw goalkeeper Gregory Squire take a little step and then hesitate, and just that moment of hesitation almost cost Phoenix. Didn't really get a look at it there, but as I watched that ball drop it at about 4 yards, that should be a keeper's ball, even though it's a pretty well-driven ball. But as I said, just a little bit of hesitation as he started to come for it, stopped, and then started to come again, and then he just lost the ability to get there.
Remember, I got stuck in between two minds on that last cross by Beto Lopez that we were referring to was a lot better than their previous attempt to cross it from the right-hand side, Querétaro. This is Phoenix with a bit of a chance. Layoff here for Alexander Pelly. And Pelly with a ball that skips off the turf once and into the hands of Carlos Jimenez.
A little bit ironic. First real shot, didn't have a lot of venom on it, but first real shot of the match that a goalkeeper needs to handle falls to Phoenix Rising. And it also fell to the right foot there of Alexander Pelly. And judging by the couple of crosses that I've seen him hit with his left, I bet he would have preferred that to be on his left foot.
Connor Lieber stepped up for Phoenix.
Yeah, you know, defense is, if you cut it to its bone, it's stop and distribute. And right now, Phoenix Rising doing okay at the stop part, but the distribution aspect is tough if you don't have enough players forward, if you don't have options forward. If there's only maybe one or two options, then it's fairly easy for an organized team like Querétaro to shut that off, just to interrupt a passing lane. And then as a defender, you're looking up and you really don't have much to do with it. So what do? You just send the ball down there and wait for your next chance to defend.
I would say that's a very accurate analysis of A, what defense is, and B, exactly what's happening so far in this match. I agree. The stop part has been all right. The distribute part, not so much. But
again, it's not that they're necessarily bad at it. There's just not a lot of options up there. And what they don't have is a Jose Ortiz or an Axel Rosas in the midfield to kind of control the ball, establish enough possession to get some players forward.
What they do have is a right-footed delivery coming in from Marcus Moore on the corner, and it's right to Carlos Jimenez, the keeper. Long throw out from Jimenez.
Good job there by Pelly of working back to just slow down the Querétaro attack enough so that Phoenix Rising can get a few more white shirts in position.
Alan Cota had gotten forward. Icor Ortega's on the right-hand side right now. And a ball got away from him and out for a goal kick. So we are closing in on half an hour in for Phoenix Rising. They play in the Southwest Division of the ECNL. Came through in their late 2018, early 2019 schedule with winning 13 out of 15 matches.
I don't see a lot of teams out of Arizona at the Dallas Cup.
And this is certainly the best showing of one at the Dallas Cup. Adam Burke, the coach for Phoenix.
A couple of teams back in the early 90s, PV Shamrocks won Dallas Cup titles, but since then, not much. Querétaro, by the way, a little bit different. 3-time Dallas Cup champions, won the under-16 group in 2018. 2017, the U17s and U14s were champions.
Things cleaned up there by Adrian Galindo, out for a Querétaro throw. Mexico already has one champion in this tournament, with Tigres winning the under-15s yesterday against Eintracht Frankfurt. Beto Lopez had a touch. Have been coming together between Alexander Pelly and Lopez. Advantage Alexander Pelly, but Lopez recovers and was able to flick it off the feet of Pelly. Good turn in the middle. Driving at the defense now. It was Axel Rosas, then Jose Ortiz. Broke it up, though, by Galindo.
Yeah, as Rosas and Ortiz combined there, looked like referee Wilson DaCosta was about to bring his whistle up to his mouth, was thinking about giving a foul right outside the penalty area, but in the end, just adjudged it was a decent enough tackle by Phoenix Rising player.
Pretty deep for Marcus Moore to have a touch right now for Phoenix. Jack Smith. Smith will carry it forward. Free kick. Eduardo Serrano was the player, Ernesto Osorio, beg your pardon, was the player that was fouled by Phoenix. And the Querétaro foul leads to Marcus Mora standing over this free kick for Phoenix. 32nd minute. Phoenix had one shot on goal. First one of the game a few moments ago.
Yeah, again, Querétaro having a lot more half chances, but not really converting them into full chances. Anything to test the goalkeeper back there.
Delivery from Mora. Mora all the way to the back post. And claiming it is Carlos Jimenez.
Carlos Jimenez having just a little bit more to do in the last 10 minutes or so. Just coming to claim a couple of crosses. Mostly off the set pieces generated by Phoenix. Both times catching them nice and clean.
Warm Easter Sunday morning at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Dallas Cup, 40th year of the tournament. Championship Easter weekend. Seen some great matches so far. 1-goal matches in the under-13s and under-15s yesterday. 1 goal decided the Solar Toronto FC under-16s earlier today. Benjamin Rusmir. Jack Smith. Connor Lieber. Lieber from Ernesto Osorio. Goal side of Alexander Kessler was Rodrigo Parra. Parra with that intervention.
Mark, just in the last 8, 9, 10 minutes, Phoenix Rising starting to push Querétaro back just a little bit.
Yep.
Establishing just a little bit more control in the match. Looks like we're going to have a long throw here.
A few bounces in the run-up by Connor Lieber. And he launches it in, and it's flicked towards the back post, and it's in! Off the throw! It was the second touch that directed it home for Phoenix. And the goal has been scored. Phoenix Rising with the opener. The long throw works, and the goal is scored.
It's a well-executed play, Mark. And Querétaro not dealing very well with either of those touches. And, you know, the old axiom in soccer is 2 headers inside, 2 headers near goal is going to be a goal.
And the goal is Marcus Mora who scored it. There was one really good flick at the near post.
Now, there's some marking on both players, but maybe just not enough. Maybe just not enough of a bump, or maybe somebody not going up with him to contest the header just a little bit more. You know, you don't always have to. what I always say and what you teach young players is you don't always have to get the ball, but you can't allow free headers. You got to go up and contest it at the very least.
Good read by Jack Smith to step up and slam it to the other end. Well, Steve, long throws still do work from time to time. Well, it's a forgotten aspect of the game in some regards.
When they're done like that, they do, because that was a mighty throw. That wasn't near the end line. That was at 35, 40 yards out.
Alexander Pelly. Oh, there's some spring in Phoenix, a step right now, as there should be. And Alexander Pelly down the left edge of the area. Got into the byline. Good work defending. And crosses, and it's put behind for a corner.
Third corner kick now for Phoenix Rising. I will try to avoid the pun of Phoenix has risen into this match.
They have. I like the pun. You're a writer. That's your nature. It's okay to do that.
That's not okay to do that.
No, it is. It is. I support it. Moore, the goal scorer, with the corner that comes in. And there are players there for Phoenix, and one of them has committed the foul. And goal kick coming for Carlos Jimenez. I mean, that was a mighty throw by Connor Lieber.
It was.
I mean, that is about as long of a launch as I can recall seeing from where he was on the field. It's one thing when you're looking at the long throw, as you said, and it's coming from an area that if you just extended out the lines that make up the 18-yard box.
Or the 6-yard box,
and you're throwing in from there. But that was, from 40 yards out probably.
Yeah.
That was quite impressive.
Now you wonder if there's a throw-in later in the match from deeper down on the right side. He can certainly throw it into the box, and you wonder, can he zip it into the box? Because that's where you, if he's a little bit closer to the inline, that is, because that's where you really, really create problems when you can not only launch it in there and kind of lob it in. That's one thing, but you zip it in there, and that one even had a little bit of pace.
Yes, it
did. For 40 yards. And I will remind everybody, this is a fully professional field. It's 74 yards wide. So that was no short throw that Connor Lieber just made.
Axel Rosas. Beto Lopez on the right side. Lopez stood up and gave it away. Alexander Pelly. Pelly will give a good, honest effort in terms of a left-wing attacking player who will also come back and defend.
Yep.
Well-met header by Rodrigo Parra. Drives it to the other side for Querétaro. Edgar Soki tracking back as Marcus Moore. Broke up the play for a moment. Eder Forosca. Lopez. Rodrigo Parra. Rather than opt for the square ball, since Alexander Kessler was stationed in between Parra and his center back partner Alberto Rios. Carried it forward, but will go out for the Phoenix Rising throw. Toronto just won the under-16s. Now the under-17 final. Phoenix Rising with the 1-goal lead.
Mark, not to be a master of the obvious, but because, one goal can change a game in so many ways, but just look, all of a sudden, Querétaro just not looking as comfortable. A couple of players barking at each other.
Alan Cota carries it forward. Alan Cota, edge of the area, draws numbers. And it'll be picked up here by Gregory Squire. And understandably, Phoenix, look, I think that you were right, though, in what you said before the goal was scored. Phoenix was getting a little bit of a bigger chunk of the play. No doubt about that.
Oh, this is where we start talking about, we mentioned it quite a few times yesterday, who's got a little more gas left in the tank, because these teams have played a lot this week. It's a warm day at Toyota Stadium. Sun's out.
The one benefit that the 16s, 17s, 18s, 19s, all of those divisions have is they didn't have to double up in terms of a quarterfinal and semifinal. Remember that the rain put everything off schedule. There was rain last weekend. There was rain on Thursday, and the threat thereof that forced the cancellation of a big percentage of matches on Thursday. So the 13, 14s, and 15s, with the finals coming on Saturday, had to double up playing quarterfinals and semifinals on Friday.
Yeah, and that said, they still played a Friday match, a Saturday match, and here we are. It's not even well into the day on Sunday, and here they are playing one more time.
Quickly thrown in by Beto Lopez. And that foul is on Querétaro.
Wilson DaCosta, the man in the middle, hasn't had just a whole lot to do today because it has been a fairly tactical match, and neither team looked like they want to control the game by harassment and individual tough tackling. They want to control it through tactical movement, more or less. So DaCosta hasn't had much to do, really, but all of a sudden, just a little bit more sting now, as I think some of the Querétaro players maybe just getting a little frustrated by the fact that they had the game in control for 30 minutes and suddenly lost control.
Alonso Garcia has come on, and Beto Lopez has gone out. Positionally, we'll see how that impacts things. The right back, Lopez, came off. But it looks like at this point that Edgar Soki has dropped back to the right back spot. Marcus Moore, the goal scorer. Hopeful ball hit down the middle. Trying to squeeze between one of the center backs and the right back was Alexander Kessler.
Yeah, not a bad idea, but it was read pretty well by the back line for Querétaro.
There's the intercept by Ernesto Osorio. And Moore will go back to Osorio, and Osorio's in, and he tries to chip it, and Jimenez with a save. Now it's Moore holding it in. Moore goes down on the edge of the area, and that's a free kick. And that is inches outside the box where that foul occurs, committed by Edgar Soki.
Whew, I just said that Wilson DaCosta didn't have a whole lot to have to adjudicate, but that's a close decision. You had to have a real look at that one before deciding. It was a clear foul from behind. Now, as we know, if it starts outside the penalty area, if it's a hand grab and it continues into the penalty area, then you can point to the spot. But foul that starts outside and then continues into the penalty area generally is called outside.
Marcus Moore, the scorer of Phoenix's goal this morning, is over this, along with Alexander Pelly.
Tough for the goalkeeper here because he doesn't know a lot about these teams, doesn't know whether this is going to come from the right footer or the left footer.
It's going to come from the right footer. Oh, and it's just over the top. Mora. Hard to get it up and down. Moore gave it a go. A bender to that far corner.
Yeah, the trick is always, we talk about it, hard getting it up and down. You can certainly get it up and down. The problem is that if you get it up and down soft enough, the goalkeeper's just going to take 2 steps and catch it. So it's hard to get up and down. What we always mean by that is with any kind of velocity and any kind of real placement.
Ado Faraska going forward. It's Alonso Garcia now on the left-hand side. He's come in as the left-sided attacker. And he drives the ball in that's headed out by Jack Smith for a corner. Yeah, it looks like Soki has dropped back to be the right back now for Querétaro.
Yeah, I think that's just an effort to get one more player forward. I think we'll probably see him forward a lot.
Corner coming in here. And it's dealt with effectively enough for Phoenix.
Yeah, Gregory Squire just not looking comfortable coming for these crosses. Saw it earlier a couple of times, really, and this one he just gets caught up in traffic a little bit and misjudges the ball. Looking into a bit of sun, maybe that has to do with it.
Taken quickly and short, Axel Rosas. Iko Ortega will hit ball by Ortega, and it lands on the top netting.
Yeah, Ortega's got just enough pressure on him there that he can't really get a good look at the cross. And in the end, he can't hit a very good one from that right side. Wouldn't think we would have too much stoppage time, if any at all, unless Wilson DaCosta adds just a little bit for the goal that was scored.
Down route one on the goal kick by Gregory Squire. Osorio had a touch through the middle. Coming after it is Kessler. Rodrigo Parra. Crossfield ball by Parra. Coming for it was Axel Rosas. He read that well. Otherwise, it's an intercept by Osorio. Pablo Ortiz on the left side. Draws it back to Rosas. Crossfield into space to Soki. Igor Ortega will receive it. Ortega to the byline. And an attempt to cross is blocked. Corner coming. Minute of stoppage time. And that will be just enough of an opportunity here for Querétaro to have one last corner kick.
Querétaro really pressing the attack up the right side.
Coming in now from Rosas. And there are two touches defensively along the top of the 6. There's a lunge and a clearance by Phoenix. Ortiz. Alonso Garcia, who just came on, and Garcia drives it off target. Gregory Squire's goal kick might be the last action of the first half. A Marcus Mora goal for Phoenix. He got the finish, but the star of that was Connor Lieber, the right back, with the Titanic-sized throw into the box. And that is the difference as William DaCosta blows for time to end the first half. And it's a 1-goal lead for Phoenix Rising in the under-17 final over Querétaro, Steve.
Phoenix Rising looking pretty comfortable defending, pretty comfortable conceding some possession, but keeping it in spots that they're more or less comfortable dealing with, and that's helped them stake this 1-0 lead.
And we'll see how that 1-0 lead holds up when the second half starts. And about 15 minutes on Flow FC. Stay with us. The coach for Querétaro has changed goalkeepers. Luis Laborio replacing Carlos Jimenez. Free kick rolled in here by Jose Ortiz. Out to the feet of Axel Rosas. Oh, and Rosas with a smash that is just wide of Gregory Squire's net for Phoenix Rising. Rosas blistering a shot that almost equalized the game in the opening minute of the second half. That was a cannon.
Now, Mark, interesting that in the first half, Phoenix Rising did a really good job, as we talked about earlier, of conceding some possession, but then deny shots from dangerous places. And as far as I'm concerned, that's really the first shot Querétaro has had, despite really having more possession in the first half.
Eder Foroska. Edgar Soki. Pablo Ortiz. Away by Benjamin Bruzmir. Carried forward here by Querétaro. Foroska again. Ortega's on the right side of that attack right now for Querétaro. He started out on the left side of their attack. They moved Ortega over to the right-hand side when Alonso Garcia came on late in the first half. Garcia with the ball. Trying to settle it as Jose Ortiz. And all the way through, it takes a deflection out for a corner. So the way that they've moved everything around, Querétaro, is that Alonso Garcia is the left winger now. Iker Ortega is the right winger. Alan Cota still plays down the middle. And on the back line, Edgar Soki dropped from right-sided attacker to right back when Beto Lopez came out. So juggled things around. Here comes a corner. Flicked all the way through. Still going to be a chance maybe for a recycled ball to go back into the box. Rabo nods it away. At center back for Phoenix Rising. Alan Cota. And nudged off the feet of Axel Rosas, and Rosas ended up with the final touch, and Phoenix Rising will throw in as we are in the 49th minute of the under-17 final.
Querétaro coming out in the second half very quickly, coming out on the front foot. Not quite as interested in moving the ball around and unsettling the defense as it looks like they're interested in getting right at Phoenix Rising, playing just a little bit more direct. Certainly looking for shooting opportunities a little bit quicker. Not afraid to maybe take a couple of shots from outside the 18 as opposed to moving those balls wide and then crossing them in. Maybe test goalkeeper Gregory Squire just a little bit more.
Driven in here from Ortega. Collected in the box. Ortiz from 20 yards out, and Ortiz just off target. Well, there is a mindset, and it's pretty clear that there's been a mindset change from the Querétaro standpoint right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's more about moving balls right around the top of the penalty area, looking for shots right there. And, look, let's be honest, Gregory Squire had trouble handling a couple of balls in the first half, so I don't think I mind that as a new tactic for Querétaro.
Another cross comes in, dealt with by Jack Smith. Marcus Moore. Moore scored the goal in the first half. And a long hit in the direction of Alexander Kessler. Kessler, good number 9 play. Now Alexander Pelly coming down the left wing. Cross is blocked and out for a corner.
Mark, more action in the first 5 minutes of the second half than we had for big stretches of the first half as the game played out very tactically, at least until that goal in the first half from Phoenix Rising.
Well, now it's time to play football. They had some tactics in the first half, but now it's time to play. Now it's time to come out and play. Marcus Moore ready for the corner here for Phoenix Rising. Moore with the goal in the first half. Right-footed corner driven in, and there were options there. 3-4 yards out for Phoenix Rising, and one of those options, one of the big boys, Jack Smith, heads it over.
Yeah, Luis Laborio, the new goalkeeper for Querétaro, coming out and getting caught just a little bit in traffic there, and once you've made that commitment, you've got to go get the ball. Yeah, you said it, Mark. I'm not quite sure on the goalkeeper switch. I didn't see an injury. Certainly don't think the goal was any fault of the starting goalkeeper, Carlos Jimenez.
It was a nice flick by Alonso. Chasing after it here is Axel Rosas, and good cover. That's Kadeen Rabo, the center back. Quick throw into Rosas by Alonso. Alonso Garcia, that is, on the throw. And now we've got a free kick. Querétaro with a free kick.
Jose Ortiz, a good midfielder. Good in carrying the ball through the midfield area. Good in combining with Axel Rosas. But I think he's also good at looking for opportunities to maybe earn a free kick. That's the nicest way I can put that.
And he's earned one here, and he drives it in at the back post, and he overhit it. A little too much sting in that free kick by Ortiz.
Yes, so in creating opportunities, there's the earning it, and then there's the serving it.
Yes.
And so Ortiz did well in one of them, and the other one he'll want back.
Picked right back up by Los Gallos Blancos. Benjamin Brusmere for Phoenix. Falls on it, went tumbling through 2 defenders. And we've got a Querétaro free kick, and we've also got the first booking of the day. Brusmere. Better be careful with that.
Yeah, I saw that too. Just picked up a yellow card. Well, we keep talking about how this is a youth tournament. These guys, these are pretty big guys now that we're talking about, but it is about learning, and you do have to learn to dealing with situations. And, we see professional players doing the same thing, but sometimes the youth players are treated a little differently, and a player like that needs to be careful. Take your yellow card and move on.
Free kick comes in here from Axel Rosas. Rabo was the first player to it for Phoenix to clear. Alexander Pelly trying to get it out as well. Alexander Kessler there, number 19. Kessler goes in. And it's off Querétaro for a Phoenix Rising throw.
Benjamin Rusmir in the 53rd minute.
Defending pretty good from Phoenix Rising. The one area that I would say would concern me a little bit is sometimes the clearances don't look as assertive as they need to. So it's just something for us to watch as this half goes on. And you expect Querétaro to continue to have a lot of possession and to keep applying a lot of pressure on the Phoenix Rising defense.
Edgar Soki on the right side. Igor Ortega. Ortega. Slip past Galindo. Sends in an inviting cross. And once again, Adrian Galindo looking to clear. And there's one of those clearances that didn't look really assertive. And I think, do we have the call sorted out properly now? Yeah, we do.
The initial header was dealt with very well by Galindo, attacking that ball, whereas the Querétaro player did not. And then it just got a little bit more dicey from there.
I got everything sorted out. It was initially indicated a Phoenix throw, but rightly was Querétaro's in the end. Intercept here by Phoenix Rising. Charging forward right now is Eduardo Serrano. Serrano slowed things up halfway.
Yeah, smart decision there. It looked like he had his head down, ears pinned back, and he was just ready to go forward. Then he understood that, came to understand that he didn't have anybody in front of him. He had a lot of blue shirts and wisely decided to bring the ball back and try to establish possession and get a couple more teammates forward.
Meanwhile, it was lost by Ernesto Osorio and possession established for Querétaro along the back line. Soki. Ball goes out, corner coming.
8th corner kick for Querétaro. It's really starting to mount.
Man, if you're Phoenix Rising, that was an unnecessary corner to concede in that particular case. Coming in from Rosas, out swinging corner. Alberto Rios got ahead to it for Querétaro. Had one of the center backs up in the box. Edgar Soki back chasing and way out right now. Luis Laborio comes all the way out to the center circle to play a ball. Worked out for Querétaro.
That's where you get into what we sometimes call the sweeper keeper. Clearly Laborio comfortable coming way, way off his line.
If Manuel Neuer were watching, he would certainly be applauding. Alonso Garcia to Jose Ortiz. Ortiz, clever little touch, got him to the byline, got closed down. Corner's coming, 9th corner. Bigger targets now coming up. Axel Rosas with a corner. Headed by Phoenix Rising by the first man at the top of the box. Driven in and cleared by Kessler. Now it's Pablo Ortiz. Ortiz finds himself, that is, amongst a crowd of white shirts. Kessler sprays it out to the left side for Phoenix. Now an attempt from distance. Oh, and it's through the hands, but still caught by Gregory Squire. He took enough steam off of it when it went through the two palms and then turns and grabs it before it, unfortunately for him, would have fallen in.
Again, we just see that Gregory Squire just isn't having the best hands today.
Quick giveaway. Opportunity here for Alan Cota. He's closed down. It will carry him outside to Marcus Moore, who collects it for Phoenix. Querétaro really a different looking side here in the first 12 minutes of the second half. And another giveaway. Alexander Pelly lost that. Well-timed intervention. Really important by Adrian Galindo. Eder Forosca.
Yeah, Galindo limping a little bit behind the play as well after that tackle.
Pablo Ortiz. Alberto Rios. Edgar Soki. Most of the play has been in this end, from the halfway line into Gregory Squire's goal for Phoenix. Some space there for Jose Ortiz. Right side to Ortega. Ortega making a run. Ortega to the byline. He lifts across in. Coming forward is Axel Rosas. It will fall outside the box. And it's struck by Pablo Ortiz, but it bends away and bends over.
Mark, we talked about this a lot yesterday, how as these matches go on, these teams have played a compressed schedule over the last few days particularly. It becomes harder to defend, and you really wonder if Phoenix Rising will be able to sit back this deep, if they cannot establish any possession, if they can hang on, and really that's the only word I can that's the best word I can use right now, if they can hang on for 30 minutes plus.
That's a big ask to do something like that. Although they will get forward here. Alexander Kessler trying to dip around Alberto Rios. Laborio, the keeper, along the ground to Pablo Ortiz. A little bit more adventurous there from Phoenix Rising.
Hearing the Phoenix Rising manager down there imploring his goalkeeper, Gregory Squire, to move the ball down a little bit quicker and not throw it into places where they're immediately under pressure.
The Phoenix Rising coach is a former keeper himself, Adam Burke. Alonso Garcia. Garcia sends it into the box. Jack Smith tried to clear. And another missed clearance. A reaction to it by Alexander Pelly. And it just got away from Ortiz. Now Pablo Ortiz. Into the box. Jose Ortiz going after it. Nudged out by Garcia. Effort from outside the area by Adolf Orozca is over.
The one thing you wonder about Querétaro, we've seen basically two types of attack. Ball establishment and control established in the middle, move the ball wide, get a cross in, or establish control in the middle and then look for a shot at 20 yards. Maybe you want to look for just a few more times, a little bit more diversity there, and sometimes combine. Sometimes look for that right center or left center channel. Just a little something different. Because right now, even though I still don't know if Phoenix can deal with this kind of pressure for another half hour, they are making it a little bit more comfortable than it needs to be for the Phoenix defense in that they're doing pretty much the same thing every time.
Jeffrey Nesbitt is about to come on for Phoenix. Number 26 is at the table and is given a card to the fourth official. Querétaro is preparing to make a change as well. You can make 6 changes at this level. This is going to hop into the box here, and it's not dealt with very well by Querétaro. Collected by Alexander Kessler. Now Alexander Pelly, cross coming in. Miss hit by Ernesto Osorio. Miss clearance, though, by Pablo Ortiz. But they'll work their way out of trouble. Rosas forward. Jose Ortiz.
Osorio had a chance to pop that ball right back across the face of the goal.
Luis Laborio coming out of goal. Oh, and he collides with a Phoenix player out of the box. And we've got a booking coming here. Laborio goes flying in to the number 9, Connor Lieber, the right back.
Well, there's aggressive goalkeeping and aggressively pursuing balls off your line, and then there's just being a little bit too enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
And that time there was really no reason for Laborio to go chasing that ball when he had some defensive cover out there. And from there, my heavens, that's he's just clearing out the Phoenix Rising player dangerously.
Jeffrey Nesbitt will be coming on for Alexander Kessler. We'll get a feel here as he comes in if that's going to be a like-for-like change.
I was just about to say it's interesting because Alexander Kessler, he doesn't look that fast, but he's pretty effective at just kind of putting his head down and being a little bit of a bulldog and creating, making it difficult for anybody to retain possession when he gets latched onto somebody.
Guatemala Ramirez has come on for Querétaro as well.
Entering the field is number 397, Guatemala Ramirez. Leaving the field is number 345, Jose Ortiz.
Marcus Moore, free kick. Goes low, side-footed out by Querétaro defender. Now with the left foot, Marcus Moore has got options in the back post. Jack Smith keeps it in play. Run up to it by Alexander Pelly. Pelly lifts it right in front. Away by Querétaro. Moore again for Phoenix. Drops for Connor Lieber. Lieber, edge of the area. Remember, he was the player that was clattered into by Luis Laborio that led to that free kick a moment ago. But in this particular case, it just harmlessly goes out for a Luis Laborio goal kick.
Now, we mentioned that Connor Lieber, a couple of goals in the tournament so far, and he does get forward down that right side. Not as much as maybe he could if Phoenix Rising was able to just establish a little bit more possession.
Does look like that was a like-for-like change, by the way, for the Phoenix Rising side, with Jeffrey Nesbitt coming on for Alexander Kessler. Pablo Ortiz. Axel Rosas. Into the feet of Alan Cota. And back to Gregory Squire. Squire's clearance got as far as Pablo Ortiz. Now Osorio has it for Phoenix. Phoenix Rising on a goal by Marcus Moore in the first half in front. Ernesto Osorio. Osorio ready to take his defender on 1v1. Second defender coming over to help for Querétaro. Corner.
Well, as you looked at the roster for Phoenix coming into it, you saw that Jeffrey Nesbitt had 3 goals, and so you wondered where you might see him. You know, what the team looked like as far as the last couple of games, and you know, how much of an influence he might have as a starter versus as a substitute. So now I guess we're about to find out.
Nesbitt did have his 3 goals all in one game. Hat trick against AC Brea, a Southern California team, in group play on Friday. Ball comes in here for Marcus Moore. Querétaro with a player at the back post, stationed there to steer it away. Edgar Soki sent it on its way, and it goes out for a Phoenix Rising throw. 66th minute. Well, here's Connor Lieber. We already know what he can do when it comes to the long throws. A few bounces. There's his run-up. Got some zip on it. It's right there in a dangerous place at the near post. And it's headed back behind, though, by Ernesto Osorio.
What a weapon that is. That's where the goal came from, obviously. And there we see him going over to the other side and creating half a chance.
Long goal kick by Laborio. Alan Cota. Soki. Icor Ortega cutting in. Ortega. Now Axel Rosas. Rosas maneuvers past one defender, past another one. Cross comes in from Ortega. Sent skyward by Osorio. The new player just came on, Cuauhtemoc Ramirez. Gave a peek up skyward at it. Didn't fall for him, nor for Ortega. Goal scorer in the final last year for the champions at Dallas Cup. Querétaro's under 16s at the time. Certainly a fair number of that group playing for the under 17s this year. Querétaro's had their moments today, but the end product hasn't been there for them.
You really wonder about the goalkeeping change because Luis Laborio, sure he's doing his best, but he's had some shaky moments.
Right.
He's had a couple of good ones too, in fairness. But you just makes you wonder what that change was all about.
Now, one thing you want to do is not give up one of these, and that's exactly what Querétaro has done. Here comes Connor Lieber. Bounces it several times. The run-up, the launch into the box, and it will fall right in front, and it almost goes in. Laborio had to tap it over. Right there was Marcus Mora once again.
Querétaro really having trouble dealing with these throw-ins. And it's really just, it's the same as a free kick from that kind of area. You just have to deal with it the same way. Different maybe in that you can station players a little closer to the goalkeeper. You can't draw a line because there's no offside on a throw-in. So maybe that makes it just different enough that it's really troubling Querétaro.
It certainly is troubling them. Marcus Mora. Mora's corner kick at the back post. Oh, leaping for the header. Jack Smith had a free header at the back post but couldn't get clean contact on it.
He just jumped a little early, didn't he?
Yep. Now amongst two Querétaro players was Alexander Pelly. And it's cleared out to Ramirez. Counterattack is on. There aren't a lot of numbers. It's a hopeful ball hit forward by Edgar Soki. It's going to fall for Ortega. Ortega's got Alonso Garcia along with him in support. Ortega tussling with Benjamin Rusmir. Now remember that Rusmir is on a yellow card, and Rusmir fell pretty hard there on Ortega. The play ends up being a foul actually on Ortega. But anytime that Rusmir gets involved in something like that, that is something to bear in mind that he is sitting on a yellow card.
Yeah, it looked like both players were giving and getting there.
70th minute as we await the restart of play here by Connor Lieber.
And, Mark, you wonder how much energy Querétaro expended in those first very aggressive 15 minutes of the second half, because about right around the 60th minute, Phoenix Rising started getting just a little bit more possession, started creating a couple of chances, adding a little bit of pressure back there on new goalkeeper Luis Laborio.
Alberto Rios only as far as Eduardo Serrano at the halfway line, and Serrano blatantly shoved in the back, and that is a foul on Querétaro's Alonso Garcia. Easy to spot, free kick for Phoenix. Querétaro ready to make another change, and that will happen here in the next little bit. Slammed into the box by Marcus Mora, and on a line right to Luis Laborio. Laborio with the punt. Just no one up there right now for Querétaro.
Connor Lieber felt like he had been held there, looking for that free kick, looking to get on the end of it.
Meanwhile, at the halfway line, Alan Cota was held. And a scramble for the ball and a quick free kick awarded to Querétaro. Haven't had penalties yet in any of these championships. Is today the day? Is this match the one? Can Querétaro find an equalizer in the last 18 minutes and however much stoppage time is coming?
If you're watching Luis Laborio and wondering how it is that he can play that far out of goal and not worry too much about it, there is a pretty decent wind coming out of the, what is that? That's the,
out of the
south end, yeah.
Yep.
So anything that you try to put over his head would have to compete with that wind.
Much more breeze today than there was yesterday. There's some shouts for a free kick. I don't think there was anything in that. That was looking for a free kick,
yep.
Not anything that actually warranted one being given.
It's Laborio giving the ball away again. He's aggressive about coming for it, but only helps if you can then keep the ball.
Physical play by Alonso Garcia, 391 for Querétaro, won the ball back. And here comes that substitution. I mentioned that Querétaro had one planned. Edgar Soki is coming off. And going in is Jose Cruz.
Yeah, Soki started as that right wing, moved back into defense as a ploy to get a few more players forward.
Jose Cruz. Leaving the field is number 392.
Jose Cruz. Jose Cruz.
Watch the formation here. You wonder if maybe they'll go to 3 in the back. Querétaro, that is.
Alonso Garcia. Hopes for a cross, fizzle out. And Gregory Squire, that is, for Phoenix Rising. Well, instruct everyone to head back. He'll take his time before putting the ball in play as we're 74 minutes in, thereabouts.
As Querétaro adds players forward, you look at the wingers for Phoenix Rising, Alexander Pele on the left and Ernesto Osornio on the right. And I'll tell you that both of them give a really honest defensive effort, so they're really moving back and forth a lot. You wonder if they can just keep chasing these attacking players forward, or chasing them backward, rather.
There's Pele right now. He's got Jeffrey Nesbitt, second half sub, in front of him, and he goes to Nesbitt, and Nesbitt carries it into the area. Cross is blocked. Nesbitt recovers. For 25 yards out, Marcus Moore was lining up a shot, then tried to play a crossfield ball that was intercepted by Querétaro. Here comes Alonso Garcia. Coming back is Connor Lieber. Set up top. Top of the area. Axel Rosas. Ramirez. Eder Ferrosca. Ferrosca to the byline. This is the number 6 for Querétaro up in that position. Almost fell for Ortega. And ultimately, you got a foul in the box here.
At that time, we saw a little bit more of that diversity in attack that I was talking about. A little bit of combining at the top of the penalty area, and then a ball that squirts out to the right. That's not just kind of a hopeful cross from a distant area on the right side. It was more of a dribble into the penalty area, then look to cut something back. We haven't seen Querétaro do that a lot, so I like a little bit more of the diversity that I see there from Querétaro. Problem is that they're running out of time to diversify.
Last quarter hour. Guatemala Ramirez. Moved along to Rosas. Jose Cruz moved it along to Rosas. A lunge to slow things up. Cruz, or Pablo Ortiz, that is chasing back, and going for goal is Connor Lieber. Certainly will push forward down that right-hand side, and Lieber's attempt is saved by Laborio. Ramirez. Ortega's in front of him on the right. Ortega, first time's a cross in, dealt with by Rabo. Adrian Galindo, left side, left back.
Phoenix Rising got caught a little bit stretched there, but in the end, Rabo really well positioned there to deal with that cross.
Alexander Pele. Not a lot of support right now. Nesbitt is an option.
There's not a lot of support, but there's also not a whole lot of numbers back for Querétaro initially.
Eduardo Serrano. Serrano's closed down.
Good switch.
Found Connor Lieber in a lot of space. Lieber looking for his options. Deflected cross comes in. Good little layoff by Ernesto Osorio. Moore going after it. Still going after it. Defender went down, fell on top of the ball for a moment. Now it's clipped in by Alexander Pele. And this will fall here for Nesbitt on the left side. And it's collected by Laborio, or is it? Going to be a corner. Yep. Laborio tried to keep it in play.
Now, Mark, the second half has unfolded a lot like the first in that Querétaro having this long stretch to begin with where they're really controlling the game, dominating possession, and then they just they run out of a little bit of energy in keeping all that possession and allow Phoenix to get into the game. Now, it happened after about 30 minutes in the first half, happened after about 15 or 20 in the second half.
Marcus Mora with the corner. Jack Smith going for it. That big center back Smith has always been up on set pieces and has been an option 6 to 8 yards away from goal. Bruce Meir with the intercept to snuff out the quick Querétaro attempted a counterattack. Connor Lieber, the right back, is all the way up on the left-hand side right now. Pelly, Alexander Pelly. Pelly from 25 yards out. Laborio with a one-handed save and out for a corner.
That's a nice save. Full
Well done.
stretch there.
Well done by Laborio, Steve. Best moment that Luis Laborio's had in the second half is this save.
Really nice right-handed full stretch save. That one along with the contested ball that he had right at the bottom of the center circle. Those are two really good moments for Laborio.
Corner comes in from Mora. Away by Alberto Rios. Another clearance by Rios. Alan Cota slams it forward. Robbo deals with it for Phoenix Rising. Hopped up on Jose Ortiz.
I thought Jack Smith was a better center back in the first half for Phoenix Rising, but Caden Robbo has popped up in all the right places so far in the second half.
That he has. That he has. Eder Ferrosca. Iko Ortega. And just smartly watched over in that particular case by Eduardo Serrano. Querétaro's making another swap. Axel Rosas is coming out. Rosas put in a good shift today for Querétaro, but was unable with his creative work in midfield to produce a goal. Out he goes. In comes Isaac Ramirez.
Pretty effective in the first half, Axel Rosas was. Showing a lot of good quick feet and a lot of good qualities. Just faded a little bit as the game went on. I thought in the second half, Jose Ortiz has easily been the better midfielder for Querétaro.
We also have the Phoenix Rising substitution in the 80th minute. Entering the game is number 16, Aiden Abbott.
Phoenix Rising have made a change with Aiden Abbott going in. And Rusmir on a yellow card comes out. And Querétaro has something cooking here, and it's along the ground, and Squire to his right saves it on an attempt by Ramirez.
And Mark, all that started when Alexander Pelly, left winger for Phoenix, got caught in possession. And again, I'll just tell you, both these wingers have put in a lot of work, and just wonder if he's getting a little tired out there.
Aiden Abbott going in. Rusmir on the yellow card went out. Guatemala Ramirez, the player who just had that shot from distance. The curly-haired Ramirez just played the ball out, and it is Lieber launching a long throw forward that's steered back by the head of Pablo Ortiz, the left back. Laborio. Booming drive to the other end, but out off Querétaro. 82nd minute now. This is the highest level club for Phoenix Rising, playing the Southwest Division of ECNL. Phoenix Rising and Scottsdale Soccer merging to create this club that is a few minutes away from an under-17 championship of the Dallas Cup. Adam Burke, their coach, goalkeeper. Has some professional experience. Cincinnati, Nashville, back in the days of the A-League. Played collegiately in Alabama at Alabama Huntsville. Free kick, Phoenix.
There's a fine line for Querétaro right now that we see in a lot of these matches as a team trails. You want to be aggressive. You go hunting for the ball because you need the ball. You can't score unless you have the ball, obviously, right? But if you foul, every time you do foul, you create an opportunity for the team holding the lead to then have a moment, to breathe, to move players into position, to talk about something that might be going on. So it's a fine line for that Querétaro has to walk. And again, we remind everybody it's about development. That's what these players are here to do. They're here to learn about that stuff.
Hit in the direction of Alonso Garcia. Headed into the box to Iko Ortega.
I'll just say again, Phoenix Rising does such a good job of conceding some possession, but then not allowing the final opportunities to really present themselves in dangerous spots. Again, we see that was a little turn and a shot at, about 15 yards at a difficult angle. Most of the shots, I'm counting 8 here for Querétaro. They're still from, most of those shots were in the second half as Querétaro started shooting at about 20 and 22 yards. You can certainly score from those spots, but it's a lot lower percentage.
Unless it's Dallas kicks at the under 14 level from yesterday. They had the percentages sorted out when it comes to those long distance attempts.
They had a lot of things sorted out.
Pablo Ortiz, that's a really good ball that he drives to the top of the box. Bravo had the right touch again, popped up in the right spot, as you noted earlier, Steve. That's the better of the two center backs as opposed to Jack Smith, although Smith's been a threat getting forward on set pieces and had a couple of quality looks.
Bravo again.
And this is going to fall outside the box. And we were speaking earlier about the fact that this Phoenix Rising team that plays in the Southwest Division of the ECNL, this is the highest level for Phoenix Rising. They don't have a developmental academy squad, but, look, it's not as if there's not fertile ground for this sport in Arizona. Real Salt Lake's academy started out in Arizona, and that is an academy that is on par now with some of the best in Major League Soccer. FC Dallas and Red Bulls, you would put RSL, I think, in that conversation.
Yep.
Picked up here by Eduardo Serrano to Alexander Pelly. Pelly charging forward.
A nice pass there by Serrano to put Pelly into a good space, and then Pelly just showing a little bit too much of the ball. And again, you just wonder if he's just a little bit knackered.
Almost fell for Ramirez. Eder Faraska. Now outside the box, Isaac Ramirez, who just came on. Ramirez. Alan Cota. Cota lifts it into the box. And Cuauhtémoc Ramirez was close by, but a reaction off the line. And really, I think maybe from a commanding the box standpoint, one of the most confident, if not the most confident moments today of Gregory Squire in goal for Phoenix.
Yep, absolutely. I think he's growing into the game a little bit. He had some uncomfortable moments in the second half, and now he looks quite in charge back there.
Good little touch by Ernesto Osorio. At least for a moment, got him free from a defender. Able to work himself away from Isaac Ramirez. Alan Cota. Cota drives it into the box, and it's headed in. There's the equalizer. Igor Ortega, just like he did last year in the under-16s. He's equalized in the 86th minute for Querétaro. Los Gallos Blancos have leveled it at 1-1.
The center backs for Phoenix Rising, you've done so well, but Ortega, you're right, he's the kind of guy who looks like he needs one chance. Just beats the defender to the spot near the near post. He's still got a lot of work to do from there. That's a difficult header to twist yourself around at that spot. Aim it really back behind your left shoulder there, back toward goal. Did a great job with it.
Might have ourselves the first round of PKs in a title match. Trying to catch Luis Laborio off his line on the kickoff. That certainly would have been a unique bit of circumstances had that gone in for Phoenix Rising. Now an attempt from distance by Jose Cruz. Bounces off the chest of Gregory Squire.
You go back to the goal mark. We just talked about Gregory Squire, how he done well back there. And that cross is in a position where it's just impossible for a goalkeeper to go get it. Driven in with pace at about 6 yards toward the near post. Goalkeeper just can't get there in time.
Next up in the under-18s, Maplebrook Soccer Club from Minnesota against an FC Dallas Premier side, not the development academy club, but a Premier team, the step below the DA level.
Yeah, don't you wonder about players like that as you get older and you develop an understanding about life and the way it works? In some ways, these are guys who maybe are feeling like they were told that they weren't quite good enough for the academy team just yet, and so they might have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
Several players on that team are going to play collegiately. Saw a list of commitments through the club and or through individual player Twitter. Iker Ortega with the goal in the 82nd minute. Querétaro with a late equalizer. Could there be an even later winner in store? Or is Querétaro looking at penalties to bring home their second straight Dallas Cup title? I'm sorry, it would be their third straight. They also won in 2017 as well. And they won twice in 2017, under 14 and under 17 level. From outside the box, Edo Forosca. And another opportunity for Alan Cota. And it will roll away to Gregory Squire.
We talked about it yesterday as the match goes on. A lot of matches over the last 72 hours. It just gets a little harder to defend, a little harder to defend the crosses, a little harder to stay on your marks near goal. You wonder right now if both managers are looking around, wondering who are my best shooters, and let me get them into the match.
There is a change about to happen for Phoenix. Right now, Alexander Pelly carrying it towards the byline. There's a goal kick, and that goal kick might be the opportunity for Phoenix to make a substitution here, and they will. Phoenix Rising is going to bring on Ryan Pace. I think we would all concur. That's a good name for a soccer player, Pace. Of course, if he's coming on for his role in a round of PKs, Pace won't really matter very much, but
you could put Pace on the ball.
Yeah, true. It's a good point. Ryan Pace has gone in.
We have a substitution for Phoenix in the 90th minute. Entering the field is number 10, Ryan Pace.
3 minutes of stoppage time. Jeffrey Nesbitt, who came on as a second-half sub, is now out of the game. Hopeful ball hit forward here by Querétaro. A touch by Alan Cota. A chase after it by Guatemala Ramirez. Quick throw into Alan Cota. Iker Ortega had the equalizer. 86th minute on the goal. Adrian Galindo trying to defend. Cross comes in from Ramirez. It falls right at the penalty spot. Oh, and a well-timed intervention defensively by the player for Phoenix. And absolutely massive by Ryan Pace as there was a layoff to an unmarked player about 20 yards out. Isaac Ramirez couldn't get to it. For Querétaro.
Just like the wingers for his teammate wingers, Alan Pace coming back, providing a lot of help on defense there.
Alexander Pelly, cross comes in, arriving as Ryan Pace. Pace trying to control it outside the box. Over to Connor Lieber. Well, and right in front of him, Connor Lieber. Querétaro has conceded a throw, which is not a really good situation here because this is going to be a great chance in stoppage time for Phoenix because of how talented Lieber is on these throws.
I wish I could tell you how quick Jack Smith saw the opportunity and sprang forward to get in position for this throw. He recognizes the opportunity. Everybody out here does, I think.
This is how they score their goal in the first half. Lieber with pace throws it in, and it's still dangerous here, top of the six. Rabo trying to put it in, and Laborio is able to tip it away. One of the big center backs, not Jack Smith, but Kadeem Rabo had that opportunity. And it's won back by Querétaro, trying to start the counter. Galindo stepped up.
Really smart play there by Galindo. Surprised he didn't try to turn and knock that ball upfield instead of just sending it out for a throw-in, though.
Ryan Pace, who just came on. Connor Lieber through the middle to Marcus Mora. Mora lost it.
Yeah, you can see